In this series of videos, I'm going to go through how to create and assemble the Automata project. And one thing that you will hopefully have at the end is an assembly that rotates and moves the way that the actual project will move. And so you can see I can rotate this handle. My cams rotate around the axle, and then I also have my followers that move up and down. Now this is not quite a complete assembly because I don't have the seesaw quite attached, but it's pretty close, and I'm going to show you kind of a quick, as easy as possible, as quick as possible method for getting this. And I'm not going to go through how to make all of those parts. Those were covered in earlier videos. But what I am going to show is really just how to assemble and maybe a little bit of how to put things together and maybe measure if need to. Sometimes we got to measure things. So I'm going to assume that you already have all of your parts. Whether those are in single part studios or individual part studios, that's all good. It is possible that you may have to build or create a couple of those parts on the fly. You create it, you put it in right away, and it's all good. For sometimes it is actually easiest to actually put all those parts together, but you'll still want to assemble those as well. So high-level overview, I'm going to show you not only how to create a couple sub-assemblies, and that's just an assembly that you then put into another assembly. So I've got my axle assembly complete with cams. I also have my box assembly that I can create as a separate assembly and then glue that all together. Can do the same thing with my axles for the most part, and then from there put those two parts together. And engineers do this very, very often, and so sub-assemblies are very helpful. This is like when the automakers make the dash of your car, they then put it into your car. They don't put all those parts and pieces in separately. They make them all together and then at the end put it into the car. You might see this with a house as well. You'll build a wall, you put the wall up. Somebody at the factory created a window, you then put that window into your house. And so you've got a sub-assembly that then goes into the larger assembly of your house, your car, any of those manufactured things. Often we use a sub-assembly. Anyway, so for this, I really just want to talk about the parts and pieces, and then the next video will go over how to put them together. And so I created an axle, and you'll want an axle that will then go through the box. And this hole right here is actually the same diameter as the axle. You'll also want some way to stop it from sliding, and so we've got right here, this is circular. It doesn't have to be circular, it can be square, it really can be any shape you want. But it's going to be a part that I can glue in, has a certain thickness. In this case, it's 1/2 inch because I know I have 1/2 inch material, and I know I'll be able to drill fairly easily into that. The other part over here is 1/4 inch because, again, I have 1/4 inch material, and I know I can actually laser cut this fairly easily. But it is just has 2 holes in it and allows me to kind of turn this crank, so that kind of offsets that axle. And then here is just a little handle. Again, it doesn't have to look exactly like this. This is just a fairly quick and easy way to do so. For your box, you're going to have 5 different parts in the assembly, but two of those are exactly the same. So you only need 4 part files. So I have one right here that is the left-hand side, which is exactly the same as the right-hand side. So you only need to make in CAD one part. Then we have a top with a couple different holes. If you happen to have 3 cams in yours, you're going to need 3 holes and all that. So we use the cams. These are for our followers to go through. We also have the bottom, and since there's no followers or anything going through that one is just a solid block. And then the back kind of gets inset here, and that is just, again, a solid rectangular prism as well. 1/4 inch thick. I can very quickly and easily cut these, no big deal. So far, at most, I have make 2 cuts, and then I drill a hole, and I've got it assembled. Same thing for my axle parts. In the next video, I'll show you the assembly.